Nueva Ecija is recognized as the rice granary of the Philippines because it led to the production of the nation's food staple during the 20th century. By the end of the first decade, rice growing had become the main enterprise in the province, and the harvest increased steadily from 1,600,000 canvas in 1909 to 1,900,000 canvas in 1910. And 2,156,718 canvas in 1911. In 1911, the province was already the third largest producer of the rice in the islands. The following year, the harvest increased furthermore and the crops was considered the largest in the history of Nueva Ecija up to that time.
The trend continued that by 1917, Nueva Ecija produced 2,267,632 kabans of rice, which was just slightly short of Pangasinan's 2,585,344. But in the same year, while Pangasinan was recognized as the leading rice-producing province and was then still regarded the island's granary, its 1,486,324 kabans of rice surplus was much lower than Nueva Ecija, which had a surplus of 1,922,482 kabans by Glick 1981. In the years that followed, the inter-provincial export of Pangasinan continued to decrease, which Persihil 1925 attributed to the rapidly increasing population of Pangasinan as well as the little or lack of additional land to plant under rice cultivation. Nueva Ecija, on the other hand, continued to have vast tracts of land to plant, and because it consumed less than what it produced, was able to sell more to Manila and other provinces. By 1920, Nueva Ecija had become the top rice-producing province in the Philippines. Compared to Pangasinan, the Nueva Ecija that year still had fewer cultivated areas but higher production, average production per hectare, and total value by Camus 1921.
The large quantity of rice harvested in Nueva Ecija in 1921 led Percy A. Hill August 1922 to proclaim that the title of Granary of the Philippines can no longer be applied to Pangasinan, for it was by clear then that Nueva Ecija had overtaken Pangasinan's total rice production. As pointed out earlier, one of the reasons of the higher rate of the production in the province was its high average rice yield. Nueva Ecija's average yield that year was 12.22 kabans per hectare, while the average for entire Philippines was only 24.79 kabans per hectare. Hill, December 1922. By 1924, Cabanatuan alone exported 25,000 more sacks of rice per year than the entire province of Pangasinan. Hill, 1924. Cabanatuan served as a shipping point for inter-provincial rice movement, while the two other shipping points in the province were Santa Rosa and San Isidro. Hill, 1923. By then, the yield per hectare of the Nueva Ecija was 44 kabans, while Pangasinan was only 33 kabans.
In 1929, with Nueva Ecija as the leading producer, Pangasinan, Tarlac, Iloilo, and Pampanga produced half of the national crop. Glick 1981. From 1933 to 1937, national rice production ranged from 42,219,600 to 55,015,730 kabans of rice per year. Of the total kabans produced annually, 16 to 20% was from Nueva Ecija. This is the reason why the province was referred to as the undisputed granary of the Philippines. When Camino 1938, it is also worth noting that Nueva Ecija became the leader of the island's rice industry in a span of less than 2 generations. The province produced from 16% to 20% of the total palay production of the country and was recognized as the leader. Cabanatuan, the capital of the province, was the nerve center of the rice trade, and the condition of its market reflected or over the country. Its prices dominated the rest, that even rice trade in Manila generally followed the movement of Cabanatuan prices.
For the above reasons, the government launched various programs with the main objective to attain rice self-sufficiency. The programs, however, fell short and the Philippines continued to import rice to meet domestic demand. Though 2006 argued that the Philippines is a rice importer mainly because of geography. As an island nation with less arable land per capita and varying landscape compared to its regional neighbors such as Thailand and Vietnam, the Philippines has limited land endowments and expensive river deltas, which make it challenging for the country to compete with the rice exporting countries in Southeast Asia.
Being consistent with the historical path in agriculture, the era of expansion, the age of productivity, and the emerging epochs of connectivity, the Philippines has been pursuing rice self-sufficiency with limited success. Despite more than doubling the per hectare rice production between 1987 and 2019, local supply has not been able to keep up with local demand, making the Philippines a net importer of rice since 1995. In 2018, the Philippines had a rice self-sufficiency ration. The proportion of domestic food produced to the total food consumed locally of about 86%, the lowest since 2013, Simeon 2019, Bruinsma 2009. Estimated that only a 20% increase in production may come from land expansion, and increased productivity can generate the remaining 80%. Therefore, if the Philippines is serious about attaining the rice self-sufficiency, stimulating an upward shift in the production function by increasing efficiency level is crucial.
Rice is an important staple to the Philippines and a food constant to millions of Filipinos. Meals in the Philippines will not be complete without some form of rice on the table. Across the Philippines, about 1/3 of countries' alienable and disposable land cultivates rice. Nevada and Turingan, 2013. Because of its importance, rice has become the most socially, culturally, economically, and politically sensitive commodity in the Philippines, and affordable supply is paramount.
The Philippines, after 40 years of hiatus, began to export rice in 2013 with a shipment consisting of 15 metric tons of organic black rice and 20 metric tons of aromatic long grain rice. The value of rice export in 2018 is only about $0.47 million, 46.87% lower than its level in the previous year. Rice export hardly made a dent in the total export earnings from agricultural products, which reached $6.3 billion in 2018. Prior to the enactment of RA 11203, the Philippines had an export quota on rice by virtue of subparagraph 13 in Section 6 of Presidential Decree 4 of 1972 as amended. Exporters of rice needed to secure an export permit from the National Food Authority. They had to submit an application including the documentary requirements, which would be up for NFA review and approval for this particular section was repealed in RA 11203.
Exports. In 2020, Philippines exported 889,000 US dollars of rice, making it the 83rd largest exporter of rice in the world. At the same year, rice was the 589th most exported product in the Philippines. The main destination of rice exports from Philippines are United Arab Emirates, 261,000 US dollars, Saudi Arabia, 156,000 US dollars, Bangladesh, 118,000 US dollars, Qatar, 69.5 thousand US dollars, and the United States, 62.9 thousand US dollars. The fastest growing export markets of rice in the Philippines between 2019 and 2020 were Saudi Arabia, 69.4 thousand US dollars, Burma, 49.8 thousand US dollars, and Canada, 36.7 thousand US dollars. In 2021, the total value of rice exported from the Philippines amounted to around 29.42 million Philippine pesos, up from the previous year's total. Imports. In 2020, Philippines imported 1.21 billion US dollars of rice, becoming the fourth largest importer of rice in the world. At the same year, rice was the 10th most imported product in Philippines. Philippines imports rice primarily from Vietnam, 985 million US dollar, Burma, 105 million US dollar, China, 38.7 million US dollars, Thailand, 35.1 million US dollars, and India, 34.6 million US dollars. The fastest growing import markets of rice in the Philippines between 2019 and 2020 were Vietnam, 124 million US dollars, Burma, 33.3 million US dollars, and China, 27.6 million US dollars. In August 2021, rice were exported mostly to United Arab Emirates, 42,000 US dollars, Bahrain, 2.27 thousand US dollars, and Canada, 371 US dollars, and were imported mostly from Vietnam, 60.5 million US dollars, India, 8.19 million US dollars, Burma, 7.4 million US dollars, China, 4.85 million US dollars, and Thailand, 3.6 million US dollars.